Hi again everyone, and thanks for joining our additional learning support session. I'll shortly pass you over to the additional learning support team who will talk to you about the way that they support students at the college and what the team has to offer. If you have any questions at any point, you can ask them in the live Q&A box, which is to the right of the screen. I'll now pass you over to Andrew to get the session started. Hi Andrew.
Hello everybody, welcome to Additional Learning Support. I'm joined today by two colleagues, both Additional Learning Support managers, and they are Andy Armstrong and Adele Robinson. So it's my job to get us started this morning and to outline our function toward the college. So welcome again. My name's Andrew Hume. I'm the Director of SEND Learning and Support. So what I wanted to start with is just to give you an insight into what we do. We're part of the Supported Learning Department, and that's in two parts. One part is our curriculum, and some of you watching today might be interested in our Routes to and Supported Internship curriculum. That's one part of our provision, and this afternoon there's a separate session on that actual curriculum. What I'd like to focus on this morning with my colleagues is our other key function, which is to be a service to the whole of the college in terms of SEND, Special Educational Needs and Disabilities. And one of the key roles that we have is to support students with education, health and care plans. So if you have an education, health and care plan, or you are in the process of having one put in place, we are the people to go to. Our themes are around individualised or personalised support, and we work towards the preparation for adulthood themes. It is typically the case that our students with education, health and care plans have employment as one of their, if not a key outcome for their time with us. And the relationship between our service function and the wider curriculum is that we work both with our own discrete curriculum and all courses across the college, from joinery to tap dancing, from motor vehicle to GCSE English. So we work with students with education, health and care plans across the whole college. We work very, very closely with Manchester City Council, and indeed we work with over a dozen councils, such as Trafford, Stockport, Tameside, St Helens, Wigan, and we've had students from as far afield as Wandsworth in the past academic year. So we are the link between yourselves, the college, the curriculum and the local authority, and it's our specific role to generate funding in support of high needs learners. High needs is our definition for students with an education, health and care plan who will generate income that helps us to give personalised support on top of the wider support that the college offers. Okay, so we support students also without an EHCP, because our other function across the college is to develop high quality teaching across what we might refer to as mainstream curriculum. So we provide support in making the college dyslexia friendly. We provide support in increasing autism awareness amongst all curriculum teams. So another key function we have is to support mainstream teachers who are teaching that myriad, that wide range of mainstream courses, to adapt their strategies and to work with them, with our support team, to make sure that learning is as inclusive as possible and so that students can progress as effectively as possible to their EHCP outcomes. We have a very significant role too in supporting students who are taking formal exam assessments. So if you're listening now and you or your son, daughter had extra time or a reader or a scribe in exams, we would ask you through the application and enrolment processes to share that information with us. We call it exam access arrangements, but it might be that you just think of it as extra time, or that Mr. Smith, your teacher, read the exam paper for you. So it's really important that you bring that information to us so that we can make sure you have a head start when it comes to your assessments. That's whichever part of the curriculum you are in. We work with the whole of the college in terms of additional learning support. On top of that, we have specialist support practitioners. You'll see a video quite soon from one of our communication support workers. So we have a number of hearing impaired and visual impaired students in the college for whom we have specialist support workers. Our support workers, some colleges would call them learning support assistants. We call them SEND support practitioners. Each of those might have a particular specialism, whether it be autism or dyslexia, but we aim to provide a holistic support system whereby all practitioners are able to support our students and call upon the skills and particular expertise of the colleagues. So it is very, very likely that if you are a high needs student, you will be assigned one or more SEND support practitioners who are best suited to your particular needs. Also, you'll be seeing a video shortly of one of our assistive technology assistants. The college won a Beacon Award this year in its use of assistive technology in progressing the learning of further education students. So that could be quite complicated technical solutions, or it could be access to software such as Read Write Gold or Inspirations, which is mind mapping tool, or just getting the best out of Word and Microsoft. There are all kinds of tips and tricks that are available on mainstream software, and our assistive technology assistants who support our SEND support practitioners are our particular experts in that field. So you'll be seeing a video from a person called Julie Davis, and you'll get an insight into assistive technology. And when you speak to our ALS managers or SEND support practitioners, don't be afraid to mention either exam access arrangements, assistive technology, and to be really open about any particular needs that you have. I'm now going to hand over to Andy Armstrong, who will take you through the role of the ALS manager. That's after I've just introduced the members of the team to you. So technology permitting, you should see a slide shortly of the members of our additional learning support management team.
Hi Andrew, it's Adele again. I'm just having some issues with my Wi-Fi, I think, and I'm going to try and move it on to the next slide.
Okay, thank you. I'll just talk over that while we sort it before you see everybody's picture. I can share the information while we're waiting. We have 5 ALS managers, and they are assigned to the particular campuses of the college. Andy, who's going to be talking to you shortly, he's the ALS manager for Openshaw and Welcome Street, which is in the east of Manchester. Adele, who's helping us this morning, she is the ALS manager for the Nichols campus and for Harper Hay. We've also got Jennifer Colville, and she's the ALS manager for Northenden and Wythenshawe. And then we've also got Jenny Barnard, and she is the ALS manager for our Sheena Simon campus. And there they are. Excellent. That's me at the top. And Adele, who's with us shortly, Andy with us shortly. I've just introduced Jenny Barnard and Jennifer Colville. And our 5th, not in order, of course, but the 5th of our 5 ALS managers is Tracy Melling. She has a slightly different role than the others. Whilst the other are geographically based on campuses, Tracy may do some particular work on campuses, but also she looks after dyslexia across the college, exams access arrangements, and works very closely with our assistive technology team. Should any of you desire to progress into higher education, Tracy works with a lady called Wendy Pennington in HE and actually supports transition from further to higher education. So that's our team. Hopefully now we can pass over to Andy Armstrong, who's going to tell you about the role of the ALS manager.
Hello there. My name's Andy Armstrong, and I'm one of the additional learning support managers here at Manchester College. As you've heard, if you have a learning difficulty or disability, then our team is here to support you, whether you're looking at coming to Manchester College, once you're here, or to help you move on once you've finished your time with us. We also have a transition team who work with people coming to college to ensure that they get the right access to the right courses and support teams. We provide support for special educational needs and disability in many ways, depending on your needs. We might ask you about things such as how you were supported when you were in school, or what support you might need to access our buildings or classes, and what kind of help you might have around exams and assessments. And when you've been studying with us for a while, we can look at what kind of support you might need to eventually move on to higher education or employment. So, what do you need to do if you think that you might need support? There are just 3 steps. First, you need to contact somebody from the ALS team, that's the additional learning support team, or the transition team. It's important to remember that we have several different sites, one of which will be near you, or which will have the courses that you want to study based there. Remember that slide before with the pictures of the managers on it? There are 5 of us, and as you saw, one of us looks after any of the campuses that you plan to come to. Our support team works across all sites, courses and age groups. The contact details of each manager, their sites and our transition team are coming later. Do make a note of these. Second, you can tell us a bit about yourself, such as what you want to study, what you've been doing before, and we can discuss how your disability affects your education and what kind of support you might need whilst you're at college. When you come to study in further education, you'll be coming onto a programme of study that might include maths, English, employability and work experience. You might have a clear ambition and know what you want to do, or you might not. It doesn't matter. Whatever you'd like to do, we can help you. Some people just need the time to work out what it is that they want to do for work or a career. So, when we think about how your disability might affect your education, it might not just be about the human supporting class or using the toilet, but it might be about using assistive technology or getting to manage your learning as independently as possible. Thirdly, we can help make plans with all those that need to be involved so that you get the support you need when you start the studies with us and ensure that you're on the right programme of study. This is where working with our transition team is really essential, as they can look at the best kind of courses that support your needs. And they can ensure that everyone who needs to meet you to get help is involved. If you have an education, health and care plan, then that will help us put together the right support package for you. If not, we can still support you, but this might take a different form. If you have a diagnosis of dyslexia, for instance, or forms from school that help about the help you had with exams, then this is also really helpful when you get to meet one of our team. We need all the evidence that we can to ensure that we get the adjustments in place for you. Then you just enroll on your study programme, talk to your teachers about support, and we can help you with this bit too. Of course, given recent changes as to how education is provided through lockdown, some of these restrictions will affect how we enrol. We intend that most enrolment is done online and virtually. There is not going to be a physical enrolment across all sites. However, we are there to support you in this process. Please do contact us or the transition team for enrolment support. Even if you don't want human support in classes or to help use the facilities, just having someone who knows your worries and needs and who can help answer those questions, someone who has your back and can deal with any difficulties alongside you, can make all the difference. We will work with you and your teachers during the first half term to make sure that support is right for you and that you settle into your new life as a college student. So there you have it. 3 of the main things to do that will ensure that you get support when you come to college. Now, let's look at some of the different people that you might meet to get that support.
Hi, my name is Alia and I work for the Manchester College. I'm here to talk to you about my role as SEND Support Practitioner. I work as part of the Additional Learning Support Department. We are here to support you and your additional needs during your time at the college. Our team are here to help you achieve, build your confidence, support you with strategies, and ultimately promoting independence. We're also here to help you have a great experience. We are here to empower you and find the best way to support you in college. At enrolment, we will have an honest chat about what works best for you and how you like to be supported. We will then collaborate with your tutors and agree a support plan and strategies that best work for your needs. We will support you in class if that's what you prefer, and will attend your lessons with you. We can work however you want us to, discreetly or next to you. We can help you develop your learning study skills, we can do key working with you, help break down information, and support you with assignments and practical tasks if that's what's best for you. Each term we will review your progress and how you are being supported. Here we will discuss what's working well and any changes we need to make to support. We also undertake person-centred reviews. This happens once every year, and this is to have a chat about the highs and the lows of the year, review outcomes and create new ones. We have a great team and look forward to helping you achieve your goals. We wish you the best of luck and hope you have a great experience with us.
Thanks, Alia. And now let's meet the next person. Thank you, Alia. And now I'll pass you over to Adele.
Thanks, Andy. Hi, everybody. My name's Adele and I'm one of the additional learning support managers at the college. So I'm just going to talk to you briefly about our dyslexia team and support that they can offer for students with specific learning difficulties. So the team consists of a range of staff, and this includes specialist SPLD teachers, support staff, and then they also link in with the assistive technologists that we've mentioned, and also our staff within the resource modification unit. And we'll learn a little bit more about those in a short while too. So as way of introduction, just a little bit about what the dyslexia team can offer and what that team can support with. So the team can offer screenings for students who are referred to them. This is not a diagnostic, it is not a diagnosis, but what this screening can do is highlight any traits of dyslexia or a specific learning difficulty that you may have. And then from that screening, what the member of staff can do is create a personal learning plan. So we shorten this to a PLP, and you'll probably hear that a lot when you come to college. So the personal learning plan could include a range of things such as recommending gapped handouts, strategies to help you learn independently in the classroom, recommending specific font or font size or how text can look for you, or using highlighters to highlight key text so that you can make sense and pick out what the important information is. So that personal learning plan, that PLP, will be created for you and it will be shared with your curriculum teachers. The team can also offer some small group support, so that could be in class, or it could be a small group of students who are working on the same assignment or working on the same topic. The team can also help students to develop their own study skills. I think it's really important when you come to college that you can learn those independent skills that will take you into your adult life and into employment. So these study skills could be things around the organisation of your work. It could be around the organisation of your assignments. It could be understanding assignment briefs and deciphering what questions mean. So once you've learnt those and developed your own study skills, that will really enhance your ability to be able to work and study independently, which is a fantastic skill to have. The team also offer some drop-in sessions. So you might see posters around the library, or your achievement tutors will highlight this to you when those drop-in sessions are. So for example, if you're having difficulty with a particular assignment, or you're just not quite making sense of what your assignment is asking of you, then you can take your work to one of these drop-in sessions. You can meet with a member of staff, or you can arrange a time that's suitable for both of you once you've met them during that drop-in session. So that's a really good way to make a link with somebody and to get that support that you need. Obviously, as we've already spoken about, the situation in September is going to look a little bit different for all of us. So how those drop-in sessions run, we will let you know when they are and how you can access those. It may be that they're face-to-face, or it may be that you can drop in on some online sessions as well. But all that information will be passed on to you when you enrol with us at the college. For students who have a diagnosis of dyslexia, the team can offer specific interventions. So this will be individualised and it will be around your own individual needs. So if there's a particular area that you are struggling with or that you want to develop, then that would be a specific intervention that the staff will be able to facilitate. So that could be if it's phonics that is your particular area that you want to develop, that the staff will develop a multisensory intervention package that will help you to develop those skills. Within that, the team can adapt and modify resources to make it more accessible for you. And I think that's a real key thing that leads on to the next point around how the members of the dyslexia team link in and liaise very closely with curriculum tutors. So it could be around how delivery is given in the classroom and how information can be modified so that, again, we can promote that independent learning if we can make that accessible for you, which is really important. The team generally work across all departments and all campuses and work really hard and are really dedicated to promote a dyslexia-friendly campus and a dyslexia-friendly environment. So again, it could be looking how classrooms are set out, it could be working with you as an individual, having discussions with your curriculum tutor, making text accessible, but also making the learning environment accessible to you too. a large part of the work that the dyslexia team do, we've mentioned it briefly earlier in Andrew's part of the presentation, was that they undertake assessments for exam access arrangements. So this could be if you require a reader or some extra time or a scribe in your exams. The team will work closely with your curriculum tutor to see what your normal way of working is in the classroom, and then the team will conduct those assessments and apply for those arrangements for your exams. So each campus has an assigned specialist teacher or an access arrangement assessor, and they also have a SEND support practitioner assigned to that campus. As I mentioned at the beginning, the team also liaise and work closely with our assistive technologists and the staff within the resource modification unit. So the staff within the resource modification unit modify resources on an individual basis to suit individual needs. For example, if a student requires information translating into Braille, or if a student with a visual impairment requires text to be of a certain size or a certain font, then the staff within that unit work really hard to modify those resources to make them accessible. And again, if we can make that accessible, it allows you as the student to learn and to work more independently, which is what we will aim to be doing. I'm going to show you a brief video now. So Julie is one of our assistive technologists, and she's going to explain a little bit about her role. Okay, just please bear with me one moment.
Do you want to reshare the screen again, Adele?
Is that okay? Can I do that now?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, this is lovely Julie, who works really hard to make assistive technology available to our students at the college.
Hi, I'm Julie and I work in the assistive technology team. In this team you've also got Paul and Sue. So what's the assistive technology team, I hear you ask? Well, we're here to provide equipment, training and modified resources for any students who need it. So if you have difficulties reading long passages of text, we can show you how to make your computer or your phone read out loud. If you struggle with your writing or your spelling, we can show you how to use dictate or voice typing on your phone or computer. You might already be using that on your phone, and it's at this point that I'll tell you, perhaps some of your tutors will let you do your college work that way also. If you have a disability, for example, a visual impairment or limited mobility, we can speak to you before the start of term to discuss your assistive technology needs. So we provide support with using any additional equipment or software that you might need to do your work independently. For example, this might be a laptop with magnification software or an alternative computer keyboard, or training on how to use smartphone apps or other personal devices to produce your coursework. So Paul, my colleague in the Resources Modification Unit, largely works with students who have got a visual impairment. He provides resources such as Braille and audio MP3s, and he can provide large print hard copies of worksheets as well. He works with tutors and will modify worksheets if a student has a visual impairment. So, to sum up then, the assistive technology team, we work with students, their tutors, support workers, transition officers and outside agencies to enable students with disabilities and a learning difference to succeed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So that was Julie. Just as a way of summary, we have a fabulous team who can't wait to meet you, and we will liaise with your curriculum teachers. We'll liaise across other support departments with your achievement tutors and the mentors to make sure that you're equipped with everything that you need to make sure that you can achieve while you're with us at college. So I'm going to pass back over to Andrew now, who will give us a brief overview of the calendar of the year.
Thank you, Adele, and welcome back, everybody. Okay, so we're in a new world, really, in terms of the pandemic. So what I wanted to say to you really was that the year will look the same in terms of its structure and what we will achieve, but it is modified in light of the pandemic and our response to it. The college is doing a tremendous amount of work and has been commended for it over the last few weeks, so that we are open in September, and over the course of the next few weeks we're increasingly opening our campuses. I'll say a little bit more about enrolment in a moment, but one of the key things to consider this academic year, certainly in term 1, Christmas term, is all new students will find that classes are much smaller. So where in the past the class might have had 12 to 15 students, the social distancing measures that we have in place means that we may have no more than 6 or 7 students in a room. And this means that we're adopting, certainly in term 1, what you would call a blended learning and support model, which means that a proportion of your time will be in class, as you've experienced in school previously, but a proportion will be online, just as we're working now. And we will work very closely with you to make sure you've got your connectivity, that you're comfortable with that. But that will not be the only way that we will work. There will be circumstances where individual students need to come in more than other students for one-to-one support. So we're adopting a whole range of different models that will suit the individual needs of our students and teachers too, because we really are all in this together. So term 1 in broad terms is your settling in. Some of you will be listening now and might not have had the opportunity to visit the campus. Well, we will leave a contact address at the end of this presentation for the people that you need to speak to in order to achieve that, because it's quite reasonable that you want to have a look around before you attend. So we will arrange that. And if that has to be at a specific time and is phased in the first few weeks of term or before during the summer, we will schedule that in. So we're not making any assumption that everybody will be able to turn up at a particular time on a particular day. We're going to work with you to make sure that your transition, your start to the college is safe, is secure, builds your confidence and is right for you. Our aim is to provide the right support for you as an individual. There's a word in the presentation there which is bespoking the curriculum provision. That means we try wherever possible to craft, to design the curriculum to meet your individual needs. So it might be that you're a student on our Roots programme, but you want to do art. It might be that you do art all the time next year, but it might be that this year, your first year, you're in our Roots class and we give you access to the art curriculum to develop your skills and a portfolio. It might be that if you're in mainstream curriculum joining a level 1 or level 2 course, that we design the curriculum so that you take 2 years to do it, or that having that extra time to complete the qualification gives you the skill capacity to achieve the highest possible grades and make the progression in line with your peers that we would expect. That is a conversation between yourself, the curriculum that you join, and an ALS manager, or somebody like Alia, who did the presentation earlier on, who is an advanced SEND support practitioner. We have a team of 7 of those who directly support the ALS managers and take on additional responsibilities for support. You will have EHCP outcome targets as you join the college. We'll sit down with you and we will look at those, and we will set you what we call SMART targets toward those particular outcomes. That they are targets that you can achieve, that we can measure, and that we can demonstrate your particular progress. We will perhaps additionally give you new targets, and they might be targets related to settling in a blended learning scenario, or specifically about moving from school year 11 or maybe a specialist sixth form into our provision, because it will not be the same building, it will be a new environment, and we will set you particular settling in targets. Alia made reference to person-centered reviews, and they take place from the late autumn onwards. So it may be that you have a particular need for an early review, and we will try to schedule that November, December, and we tend to prioritise those the best that we can as your needs emerge and your priorities change and you achieve your outcomes. All our students have work placement or work experience opportunities, whether you're in the discrete curriculum such as Roots, obviously supported internships where our students do several days a week in contrasting placements each term, or you're in mainstream curriculum. And our team will work closely with our employability officers to make sure that your opportunities as a learner with SEND needs or high needs gets an equivalent opportunity to develop your work experience and employability as other students. So term 1 is settling in, but be assured that we're doing everything to make sure that in this pandemic situation, it's safe, secure, well managed. There will be smaller class sizes, and what support you get in the class will also be augmented. It will be increased by support online through Teams meetings, which this is, or any other online means. And wherever possible, we will help you with your connectivity and access to hardware and software. Term 2, we're already thinking about the next steps. We're thinking about the next academic year. So you may be succeeding on a level 2, and we'll be looking at what we need to do to get you ready for a level 3. You might be on a foundation level, and we're looking at what we need to do to support you in getting to level 1. You might be a Roots student, and we're looking at the ways to help you transition into mainstream curriculum, into that art career, or into that media computing career. We're starting as soon as PCRs begin to look at your next steps, and we're always looking at the aspirations that you have in your education, health and care plans, and trying to make sure that you get where you want to go. However, sometimes students change their tack, where they want to go, and we will support you in that necessary change if that is what you want. Our expectation is that all learners with a SEND need or high needs achieve and progress in line with their peers in the college. That is our absolute commitment to yourselves if you're listening to this presentation today. Term 3, the summer term, we continue with PCRs, and we have a very strong ethos of positive progression. That means going up a level into a new vocational area that is more aligned to your career ambitions and fulfilling your aspirations. We expect that all our students will become employable and work in sectors that they want to, and we will enhance their life chances. We're all about preparation for adulthood, and whether that takes 2 years with us or takes us 5 years, our commitment to you is we will get there. So that concludes my input, only just to say that we are doing our very, very best to make the new normal as similar as previous experience. There will be a blended model, and with hopefully changes in the pandemic situation and greater freedoms, our intention is to gradually, over the course of the year, term 1 into term 2 into term 3, to move much more towards the normal that you've experienced in previous years. That's our ambition, and that's what we are committed to deliver for you.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Andrew. We've had quite a lot of questions which have come through. So I'll just read out the questions and then just pop your hand up and say who's going to answer it. Andy's been doing a great job of answering some of the questions as well that we've had through, but I'll probably just read some of those out as well, just in case people have missed those questions in the Q&A box. So one of the first questions is, when will I meet a support worker? Not sure who wants to answer that one.
I don't mind answering this one. Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, Andy. Hi, Andy.
Hi. So, well, when you come to normal circumstances, you probably would have met somebody from the support team prior to your enrolment if you were coming from college. But given the situation that we're in at the moment, what we'll try to do is get you to meet a support worker before you start your course. Where we are at the moment with the college opening on a sort of gradual basis in the way that we might be delivering courses, that may not always be possible. It may be that you actually meet your support worker very shortly before you start the course or on the day that you start your course. But normally we would try to get people to meet their support workers before they start. That's still our ambition. You would normally meet somebody from the support team anyway when you have a discussion about your support, and whether that's a discussion online, such as now, or if you come into college and have a discussion around your support, then that's when you would meet somebody from the support team, either myself or one of the other support workers, and they can discuss your needs.
That's lovely. Thank you very much, Andy. I think there's a couple more slides that we just want to show, just with the contacts and connections for you. So we'll pop that up on the screen in just one moment. Okay. Sorry,
could I develop what Andy's just said there and look at this slide as well? Okay. So first of all, if you've got a pen with you, pen and paper, I know you'll be able to come back to this presentation later because it is being recorded. But if you have a pen and paper, do make a note there of the 2 email addresses. The one at the top, specialistsupport@tmc.ac.uk, is administered by this team and our SEND administrator. So we can deal with any queries that come out of this presentation through that. If you've got a particular, you could be a brand new student, you might not have actually done an application yet and you're here, I would recommend that you talk to the transition team, and they will be particularly useful in terms of arranging visits to campuses. Now, just in terms of developing what Andy said, it is a moving feast at the moment as we're gradually reopening campuses. Things are developing every day, and one of my jobs by the middle of August, hopefully a good week before the final enrolment plans are in place, is to communicate to all potential new students what the specific options are. We are going to try wherever possible to have a physical enrolment. We totally understand that some of you might not feel too confident with a purely electronic application. So we are developing capacity to do that, but it will be very specific, and we will write to you to explain how to go about that. So the plan is to try to get to a position where all campuses are open, but it might be that that's phased, and we will be writing to you with the full detail of that. And if necessary, if it means that your start is a little bit delayed, and we don't want that, but if that's necessary to come in a week later, we will support you, A, in being able to see us separately, and B, to then work with the curriculum to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure that nobody gets left behind. So watch this space, but at this moment we need to be really quite confident that we're going to be able to see a lot of you, as well as just rely on the e-enrollment. That's something that we're working on. Okay, so any more questions, really?
Yep, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, I've got some more questions here. Somebody said, I had an exam concessions in school. Will I get them in college?
Shall I pick that one up?
If you wish, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yep. Hi everyone. So as I said, the dyslexia specialists will pick that up. So they will, they're working on at the moment how we can get the Form 8s from school. So some of you may have them. If you have any information, then obviously bring that or send that in as part of your enrolment, and as we get to know you as well. So the dyslexia team will pick up those assessments and follow our college procedures to look at what you need for your exams.
Brilliant, thank you, Adele. There's another question here. I don't have an EHCP, but I do need support. How can I get that?
It's Andy here. Well, if you don't have an education, health and care plan, but you do need support, then what you need to do is you need to let us know. We've already, as we mentioned before, have a conversation with us. It doesn't mean that you can't get support. It just may affect the way that you get support and the options that you have. That's all. If you feel that you need exam concessions or that you need help in the classroom around support, then what we would normally do with you is a thing called a normal way of working form. And what we do with you, we sit down with you and have a conversation about what works for you in the classroom. How do you study? What works? What doesn't work? And what things have happened in the past? And then we can have a conversation with your tutors and teachers, and then we can make adjustments as to the way that you taught, or the way that you're given homework, the way that you use technology. And as Adele mentioned earlier, we do have study skills classes, so it could be that part of your normal way of working is to attend some of those.
Could I just add to that as well, please, Amy?
Of course.
Just to reassure everybody that we do work very closely with curriculum areas and with other support departments as well. So we'll also link in with your achievement tutor and your mentor. So there's lots of wraparound support that we can provide, and that we do work across with our support colleagues as well.
That's brilliant, thank you. Somebody said that they don't want support, but their parents said that they have to have it. How would that work?
I'll answer that one. Okay. All right. So if that's the situation where there's an education, health and care plan, the college does have a duty to fulfill that and provide support. However, we have a high number of students that don't want to be seen to have support in the classroom, and our practitioners are very expert at being subtle. We can offer support outside of the classroom, we can offer it remotely, we can offer it discreetly, because we often find that the issue is I don't want to appear to be different. So on many occasions we manage to provide support, but it's absolutely not obvious that that's what we're doing in the class. So we would like to help, we would like to support, because that means you've got a much stronger chance of achieving, but we will do it very discreetly and to the point where hopefully nobody will notice that you're being given that support.
That's brilliant, thank you, because that leads on to another question where somebody said that they don't want people to know that they need support. So that's great. I think you've answered that one. Thank you.
But Amy, could I just pick up on that? Okay, I totally agree with that, and it's sort of the same answer. But please, everybody, don't be afraid on your application form, and when you've got the opportunity of speaking to one of our team, to declare it, because we do find that students should have declared, and we find out 6 weeks into the term, and it's probably because of the fears that have just been expressed. but you can trust our team. Our team will work hard with the curriculum to get the support in place, and it will be as discreet and subtle as necessary so that you don't feel uncomfortable.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. Somebody said, will I always have the same person? I think they mean, you know, the same support worker. Not sure who wants to answer.
Shall I answer that one?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so obviously we try to provide consistency wherever we can, wherever possible, because it's really important that you build up really good working positive relationships with support practitioners and your tutors as well. So while we can't guarantee that it will be one person and it will be that same person throughout the week, what we do endeavour and our ambition is to provide consistency. So I know that's not a definite answer, but that's what we are aiming to do. That's what we aim to do. It might be that you have a couple of support workers who get to know you really well and you get to know them really well, but that's what we aim to do as a team.
Thanks, Adele. Somebody said, I used an iPad at school. Can I use one at college?
I can answer that one. I can never remember the phrase, but we try wherever possible to encourage bring your own device. What we would have to do is to get one of our assistive technologists to have a look at what software's on there and to see whether the iPad and our college network was compatible. If that was not possible and the iPad was your normal way of working, we have a library loan system and a stock of iPads that we can lend out to students. If you've got a particular high need for that, we can make a bid for that with the local authority and put it on the high needs income. So we could purchase one for you. It depends on your level of need there. If it is absolutely your normal way of working, we will find a way to make sure that you can continue with an iPad if it's not necessarily the particular iPad that you've got currently.
Brilliant, thank you. Somebody said that they've got a specific question here, actually, saying they'd start college in September, but they've not heard anything from the Northern campus due to the coronavirus, and they said that they're starting the Roots course. Who should they contact? Again,
I can answer that one. I'd recommend that is to either of those two addresses, or if they want to leave their contact details somehow through this, then I'll get one of the managers on the Roots course to contact them directly.
That's lovely, thank you. Somebody said, I have a condition that means I have to shield. How can I do a college course?
Adele, are you going to have a go at that?
Shall I answer that one? What we would do, we would look at everybody's individual situation. Please be reassured that this would not automatically prevent you from, we've had previous questions in another event around, am I at risk of losing my place? Please be reassured that we will look, as Andrew explained, it's going to be a blended curriculum anyway, so there is going to be some remote learning. But we will look at a way to make that course accessible for you. So if that is an issue for you, what I would strongly advise is that you get in touch with your tutors after or highlight that at enrolment or over the phone that is an issue, because once we know that that's a problem, we can then start to investigate ways to address that for you.
That's lovely, thank you. Somebody says, I had one-to-one support at school. Will I get that at college as well? Do they have to mention that in their application?
I can answer that one, but maybe Adele want to say something in a minute. One-to-one support comes in lots of different ways for lots of different reasons, and sometimes you might have one-to-one support because of the activity that you were doing, not necessarily because of the disability that you have or the learning difficulty that you have. So what we try to do is we try to work around an individual support package that's suitable for your college courses and your program of study. So for instance, it could be the opposite. It could actually be that in school you didn't have one-to-one support because you were doing a general timetable. But for instance, if you were doing motor vehicle and you were working with really dangerous machinery, that you would have one-to-one support whilst you were working with that machinery to keep you safe. Eventually, you might not need that one-to-one support. So really, it just depends on what you're studying and what your actual support needs are.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Somebody has asked, which I know you've already answered, Andy, but perhaps other people may have missed the question. It says, are there any quiet spaces to go to on campus?
Yeah, I can pick that one up. In terms of how busy the campus is going to be, the impact of blended learning is going to make it less crowded, calmer, socially distant space achieved, and the general feeling will be of a much more open, calmer space. A lot of my colleagues haven't been able to go back into the campuses yet, but we've cleared an awful lot of spaces, and we're redesignating office spaces where managers will continue to work remotely to create individual spaces for learners that need one-to-one support and such. So we've got a very detailed plan working through at the moment where we will guarantee quiet spaces. If it's particularly for a student on a Roots programme, and the Roots programmes take place at Northern and Openshaw, we do have quiet spaces already, breakout rooms, if students need a calm space to calm down, to get themselves together. And when we open up and we get a much clearer view of the room occupancy on the other campuses, that's something that we always try to find on each campus. But predominantly, we have that in place already at Openshaw and Northern, but it's something we work to, depending on the individual person on the other campuses. We will find a space if that need is there. Amy, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, somebody's asked, I need personal care and getting help around the college. How can I help? Andy's already answered some of these questions, but again, just in case people have missed it in the Q&A chat, if I don't know, Andy, if you want to answer that question again, or Andrew, if you can do that one.
I'll do it. We've got all our staff can provide personal care, and some of them are specialists where that's needed for very specific needs. If you've got any personal care needs, and these aren't always things like using the toilet, then you need to talk to us about it before you enrol. And what we can do is we can do a personal care assessment with you, and that's translated into an agreement, a plan that we come up with you about how to do it so that it maintains your dignity and your privacy, and allows you to feel that you're actually in control of the process, because that's really, really important to us. And then what we'll do is we will do a rehearsal of any personal care that is needed, so that you can meet the people who were doing your personal care. And normally what happens is two people will do things like using the toilet, personal care for using the toilet, for instance. One of them would always be the person that does the personal care with you, the lead. So we have like a lead person and a second person. depending on when you might need to use the toilet, that second person might change, because you have to remember that our staff are on timetables, so they're doing lots of different things. But the support worker that's with you when you need to go to the toilet will be the one that takes the lead on that, and they will be the one that does it consistently with you, so that you feel comfortable and so that you feel in control.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. I think that's all the questions that have been answered now in the Q&A chat. I don't know, do you want to say anything else, guys, at all?
I'd like to say, Amy, just to reassure people, we have got a great team, and come and talk to us about your needs, and we will look at creating a personal learning plan and a support plan that suits your needs. So yeah, just to reassure everybody.
That's lovely, thank you, and thank you very much to all of you for the session this morning. As it's been mentioned, we will send you the recording of this video for those who've missed anything, and also we've got more Couch to College sessions taking place next week with the student experience team, also making an application and how to enrol at the Manchester College. But thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we'll look forward to seeing you in September. Thank you.